If you feel uneasy about the growing amount of disclosure that the public seems to be getting from the United States government, you are not alone. One would think that a community of people who have been calling for disclosure, who have been claiming the government's dishonesty on the subject for decades, would be ecstatic that suddenly in 2024 the government seemed to be scrambling to disclose all manner of unexplained phenomena in our skies. I know it to be fact that I am not alone in feeling like these disclosures are distractions. It's too much all at once. There's no actual substance to any of it. I don't trust it, especially considering certain societal factors and things concerning our government and the factions warring within it. If you feel as though for a very long time the establishment has been heavily bearing down on the public, thought policing and carefully brokering what the population perceived as truth, again, you are not alone. For the better part of 20 years now, it has felt like espousing any beliefs that were not pre-approved by the establishment and media was not just a mistake, it could literally destroy your livelihood. This created a culture where people were afraid to speak their minds in public for fear of the social and economic repercussions that would follow. A chilling effect, if you will. And yet now, just after the very establishment has experienced a historic loss, suddenly they are desperately disclosing. Something is off. Even the stories themselves don't feel right. Tic-tacs, mysterious drones of unknown origin. This does not feel like anything extraterrestrial. This doesn't even feel like anything particularly interesting. The Nimitz incident was among the first of these phenomena to be disclosed and publicized, and I think many people, myself included, believed that any subsequent releases would be scarce. And instead, it feels like we've gotten a veritable hype storm, and everything has just been a copy and paste of that very situation. Military radar has anomaly. Pilot or other observer claims they saw the anomaly and it was a UFO. There is no hard evidence that would lead to the conclusions that the observer came to. We should trust the government without evidence because they are telling us what we want to hear. It's not right, and something is off about this. I'm not usually so thoroughly convicted about things, for which I technically have no proof. But if I've learned anything in my hiatus from YouTube, it would be to trust my instincts. I do not trust what is potentially coming. For years, we've heard whispers of the kind of things the government was planning. Project Bluebeam comes to mind. Originally, the idea was that governments around the world would stage an alien invasion in order to get the population to accept wild new politics which would severely restrict human rights. They would accomplish this by using technology that was not yet known to the public, namely drones and holograms. Other interpretations of this rumor were out there, but the fake alien invasion was the most popular one and seemed to be where this concept originated. And then, there we were in the winter of 2024, standing in the rubble and confusion of a very hard-fought political battle, who we thought were against the very people that Project Bluebeam claimed to be implicating. And suddenly there were mysterious drones flying around the sky in New Jersey. The media were spending nearly every second of airtime reporting on it. The government claimed they didn't know where the drones were coming from, which is interesting, considering they weren't shooting them down. If they were foreign drones, or even alien drones, flying around one of the most densely populated areas on the East Coast, I think it's safe to assume at least one of them would have been shot down at some point. And yet, the government was allowing these insane news stories to run unimpeded, even promoting them. In what universe does the United States government just throw their hands up and say, gee, we just don't know, publicly? The government needs the people to believe that they have everything under control. If there were truly aircraft zipping around restricted airspace on the eastern seaboard and our government had no means to stop them or do anything about it, the last thing they would do is admit that. They would make up a story, and the media would unflinchingly run with it until it was accepted into the cultural zeitgeist and then forgotten. However, what we got was the United States government claiming they had no idea what these drones were, claiming they don't know if they're a threat, admitting helplessness and powerlessness. This should raise many red flags for anyone who has been paying attention for more than this year. So this leads to the obvious question. Is this Bluebeam? I have my doubts. The concept behind Project Bluebeam is so ridiculous that it hardly even seems possible that the government could have considered it. Not to mention the fact that these reported drones always seem to have red and green navigation lights on them. Very odd for aliens or foreign spies to care so much about the aviation laws in the United States. So if this isn't the build-up to a fake alien invasion, then what could it possibly be? Why would an administration that has maintained a vice-like grip on public opinion and discourse for as long as it has been in power suddenly feign helplessness? My guess is that this was a distraction. That these were just government search or surveillance drones that were being scrambled to give the media something to talk about, other than the catastrophic failure of an administration that almost reduced the United States to an authoritarian police state, and then a third world country. It's my belief that we needed to be distracted, and to think that we had just defeated the powers that be, because the new powers that be were about to do much of the same thing. Even now, it seems that the grip of the underworld is tugging on even the current administration, which were meant to be an answer to the corruption and chaos of the past. In light of this, I would expect things like this to happen again. Some articles indicate that Picatinny Base in New Jersey has been confirmed as the origin of the drones, the same sources making the claim that the government is allowed to lie about this because we don't need to know. Very convenient as always. As the new administration tries to take its stride, I imagine we stop seeing drones in New Jersey. People will still talk about them. I'm sure it will become something of an urban legend. But I think the actual credible sightings will all disappear because the drones simply won't be flying in obvious places anymore. To be clear, however, I do not expect that this is the last time that we're going to have some sort of UFO disclosure carrot dangled in front of us as a distraction. Though there has been a huge perceived change of power in the United States, the new administration is very much like the old one. The New Jersey drone invasion was extremely effective at sucking up awkward airtime at all of the rogues gallery of corrupt media establishments and keeping the general public distracted. As what I believe to be an engineered mass hysteria event, it was highly successful. Expect more things like this to happen. Expect them to be even crazier. Do not let them break you down. Thank you for watching and listening. I know it's been a long time.